I have one question. Where is Need for Speed? Need for Speed Unbound was released back in 2022 to mixed reviews. Some love it and some hate it, because the game did very little to move the Need for Speed franchise forward. Ever since Need for Speed Unbound, the franchise and its developers have either been in limbo or radio silent about Need for Speed. Even the Need for Speed community seems to be very quiet as of late. I used to get so much news about Need for Speed, even though I wasn't looking for it. The last big hype for Need for Speed was when Need for Speed Unbound came out. Ever since then, Need for Speed has slowly faded out of people's interests, and there hasn't been any real updates about Need for Speed, except when there was news that EA is taking a majority of Criterion staff to work on the next Battlefield, because it seems like Battlefield is all EA cares about at this point. So far, it's 2025, and since 2022, nothing much has been said about a new Need for Speed game. There has been a lot of speculation, but as we know, it's only official when the developers say something, and so far they are not saying anything. By the looks of it, the only thing they're doing is working on more updates for Need for Speed Unbound. I've tried my best to find as much information about what might be the next Need for Speed game, and I really can't find anything conclusive. Or maybe I'm just not looking hard enough, or maybe I am just not looking in the right places. But from what I have seen, nobody really knows what is coming. I'm assuming that there will most likely just be more updates for Unbound. I will say this, the latest update for Unbound is weird because despite everything they have added into the game, the weirdest part is that for some reason they added a motorbike or motorbikes into the game. So this is a very crazy direction for them to go in, because the only other Need for Speed rival that I can think of that had motorbikes way before Need for Speed did was Midnight Club. Midnight Club adopted motorbikes early. By Midnight Club 2, they already had motorbikes in the game. Then after that, they kept motorbikes in all their games. This might be a stretch, but for some reason I always thought that NFS was going to do this. But I always shrugged my shoulders and thought no way they would do that, until now of where they did it. I was shocked when I saw it, but I also understand that these are the new devs. Seems to me like all the old devs are long gone, because it seems like the people who are making all the updates don't really understand about what the community wants. New ideas are never a bad thing, but it is always important to remember that you need to have strong guidelines. You need to have a foundation that can consistently bring new ideas. Unfortunately, with Need for Speed Unbound, it has always been a very experimental game. Experimenting is a good thing. It is a sign of growth and passion. But when it comes to set experimenting, the new things you do need to be at least half of what worked before on the previous game, and then the other half can be something completely new. The goodness is, Need for Speed Unbound did some of that, but it didn't have the best execution. The game looks decent, but that's all it had going for it. The game is nothing special and unfortunately not better than Need for Speed Heat. After doing some research, it appears that there was an update. This is literally fresh news. It appears that Need for Speed Unbound is officially done. As of yesterday, the team called Kaizen, who are what was left of Criterion, announced that they are no longer doing any more work on Need for Speed or any new Need for Speed games. This is because EA now moved the entire Criterion team to work on Battlefield. I have no idea why EA is so desperate for Battlefield. So desperate that they in fact have 4 studios working on it. Imagine that. 4 studios working on just one game. So really, now the expectations of the next Battlefield, I am sure have to be high. People will be expecting nothing but perfection. I haven't had the most favorable views on Need for Speed as of late. The modern NFS games really aren't that good. As far as I'm concerned, Need for Speed Heat wasn't a bad game, but it looks like they struggled to make anything better than Heat. Need for Speed used to be a genre-defining game. It started back in the 90s and has been around since then. For a long time, it was EA's biggest game. So it is really sad to see the franchise be put on hold, but maybe this could be a good thing, because I feel that the Need for Speed franchise is long overdue for a full-on reboot. They need to focus more on gameplay. Gameplay. What NFS really needs is a trilogy, a beginning, a middle, and end, where you have a consistent storyline with good characters, great music, and car lists. They need to look back on the old games, take as much notes as possible, and take everything from the most successful NFS games and put that into a new game. As for the future of Need for Speed, I am really not sure. The franchise has fallen off, and it's to the point of where even EA has taken note of this. Yeah, sure. Nostalgia is keeping the franchise relevant. People are still playing the old games like Need for Speed Underground 1, 2, and are still playing Most Wanted 2005. But the fan base still needs new games. They need something new to look forward to. At this point, the only thing I can predict for Need for Speed's future is most likely a lot of remasters. If EA wants to bring back NFS, it will most likely be with a bunch of remasters. Maybe they'll finally remaster Most Wanted 2005. The sad part is that there is nothing about any new Need for Speed games. No teaser trailers, early betas, or even concept art. Maybe over time some stuff will get leaked, but who knows. And with that, this is the Chilly Man signing off. I thank everyone for watching. Peace out.